Taxi drivers are urged to make submissions to the Department of Labour concerning their salaries. Government will investigate conditions of employment and minimum wages in the industry. Some drivers say they earn between 600 and 800 rand a week when they are required to make as much as 40,000 rand a month. Well, to tell us more, we're joined by the acting spokesperson of the Department of Labour, and that's, of course, Mokgadi Pela. Good to have you.
Morning.
Welcome to Morning Live. Thank you. Those figures, does that sound accurate to you?
Perhaps let me start off, Leanne, with your permission, of course, to explain what happened a few days ago when the Minister of Labour, Mildred Oliphant, published her intention to review wages and conditions of employment in the taxi industry. Now, by doing that, she also invited stakeholders to make inputs, written inputs into the process as a way of influencing the process. Now, that set in motion a few things, one of those being the fact that very soon the department will be beginning with public hearings throughout the country. That's a forum at which stakeholders, meaning taxi drivers, operators, and everyone concerned could attend and try to influence the process by indicating their wish. For instance, what they think the new minimum wage should be, or how conditions of employment in the industry should be improved. That would be the second point. The third point would be that we have a body called the Employment Conditions Commission. Now, that's a body that advises the minister on wages and conditions of employment. Now, that body's responsibility is to consolidate all these inputs that come from stakeholders and present those to the minister. Yeah. The last leg thereof would be for the minister to make a determination. Now, in making a determination, the minister will have to play a very careful balancing act. She's got to balance the wishes of the taxi drivers as against the affordability of the employers. Because you see, it doesn't help to increase wages to a particular point while in a few months' time people will be retrenched.
Yeah.
Yes.
The regulation of the taxi industry, it's been something that's been spoken about for a long time.
Yes.
And it's not regulated by government. How is it going to change? Is there a consideration of finally regulating the industry? Yeah,
that's why we're talking about this inclusive process, ensuring that everyone is involved. As we speak, the department is talking to these stakeholders to be saying, it would be wise if all of us come on board to come up with what we feel we can live with, the type of sectoral determination we can live with. Earlier on, you spoke about the wages that taxi drivers are earning.
Yeah.
Currently, the minimum wage would be 2,800. Now, that would be for taxi drivers. You also have taxi marshals, you have cleaners, those who load people onto taxis. Now, that is as far as the minimum wage is concerned. But remember, at all times, the minister, the Department of Labour, the Director General of the Department of Labour, Deputy Minister, all of them encourage the owners in whatever industry to pay even more than the minimum wage, because it is actually good for the industry. It's good to motivate drivers, those sort of things.
Yeah. Well, what working conditions do most taxi drivers perform under?
Well, just a few days ago, I was on some radio station, and a number of taxi drivers phoned. They were complaining about the long hours that they have to work. They were saying that they are not paid properly. There's no compliance with the sectoral determination as it stands. They were complaining that some of them do not have contracts of employment, that there are no deductions for unemployment insurance fund. On the salaries, they do not have pay slips, those sort of things. Those were their complaints, and they were appealing to the minister and the department to help them in ensuring that the operators abide by this. But like I say, luckily, a few operators also phoned to say they are prepared to work with government to make sure that there is compliance.
Okay. Just finally, you've urged these taxi drivers to make submissions to their nearest labour officers. What do you want from them? How do they go about doing this?
Basically, all they need to do is to explain that as things stand, this is the current minimum wage and conditions of employment act. They are not happy with particular conditions. They need to specify what those conditions are and what type of improvement they would like to see. And again, in terms of wages, they need to give the minister an idea of where they think wages should be pegged at.
All right. easy enough. Thank you for talking to us here on the program. Mokgadi Pela is the acting spokesperson for the Department of Labour. The focus is the probe into salaries of taxi drivers and wanting taxi drivers to make submissions to their nearest Labour officers to try and get to the bottom of all of this. Thank you again for joining us. Let's take a break. See you after this.